1200 days in hardcore Minecraft. Here we go again. In this 100-day block, I want to expand New Hope massively. I want to build a church, and I want to work on the arcane reception coil. It is supposed to be a mega base after all. If we have time after that, I have a special surprise, and I have the winner of our build competition from my supporter realm. We have no time to waste. Let's go right now. I've decided that running this budding city is just too much for one man, so I need to expand my team. I spent much time last week talking to various villagers here, trying to get a beat on who is universally respected. The same name kept coming up, a Mr. Grady.
So, Doctor, how many miners and builders are you thinking?
I believe I can construct 3 houses in the next few weeks, so let's start by filling them up first and see how much progress we can make.
So, are the Fist and the Dragon being patient with their time frame?
They are, for now. I'm sure that time is pressing for them, but they understand that this is a huge project.
Where should I start for my recruiting?
Well, Captain Watt is headed south for a bit of a scouting mission. Perhaps start with any outlying villages to the north?
If you don't mind me asking, what is Captain Watt looking for?
I'm trying to find out the size of this particular organization.
The Fist?
I think it's time to see exactly what we are up against. Oh yeah, if I'm going to expand New Hope, this is the place right here. I think it's a perfect area, and it's close. I want to expand from the center outwards. Before we go any further, I want to say welcome to all the new subscribers. I have just blown by 100,000 subscribers, and that is a number I never thought I would see. So thank you and welcome. I want to add more houses to New Hope, but we have a rule here in Fixtopia, and to add houses, you need to add 3 fields per house. So you know what it's time for, a farming time lapse. As it turns out, when I went to check out my seeds, I am basically out. I have been neglecting my underground farms, and I need to rectify that now. After a good bit of farming, I realized that I get all this beetroot, and I don't need it. Not the beetroot seeds, no, I use them to plant. So I set up an auto composter here. Hey, you know, bone meal is always a good thing, so I'm just gonna throw all of my beetroot right in there and keep the seeds for planting. There was a point not long ago that I was just drowning in regular wheat seeds. That is no longer the case, so I'm converting my beetroot farm down in the bottom to wheat. What I really need to do is dig out like 3 more farms so I have a farm for every crop. The thing is, I have 3 fields to choose from now. I have the northern fields, the fields heading sort of east towards spawn, and the southern fields. I decided to go with the northern fields first. These fields are probably the smallest of the 3 choices I have, and also they head towards the pillager tower, which is something I want to explore in the future. The other thing that I have in this area is this very, very cool sort of ridge up on top of this farmland. I think eventually, way down the road, I'm going to want to build up there, so I'm running a road first because I don't want to plant where this road will go. I get asked this question frequently in comments. Hey Fix, why don't you use water in your farmland? It's because I never plan on harvesting these fields ever. These are just for immersion and world building. The farms I do harvest are underground and they are hydrated. And after 4 days, I am ready to actually start building. We have a lot of farms, let's go. Yeah, time to build, I thought, until I checked out my spruce chest, and I am out of that too. Apparently, in my push to get to 1100 days quickly, I did not refill any of my materials. All right, let's go chop down some trees. I got a ton of spruce, and while I'm chopping down some dark oak trees, I want everybody to say happy birthday to my dog Oliver. It's his first birthday. Everybody sing in your own houses. Go ahead, I'll wait. While you were singing to my little puppy dog, I laid out 3 houses. I got 2 sort of regular builds and a diagonal one just to sort of mix up the general footprint of the city, and it's pretty good. Again, I'm going to be using spruce and dark oak for the details, but I need some terracotta first. Unfortunately, according to the rules, I set up 3 houses, which means I need 9 fields, and I've only done 3. The reason why I do this is because of immersion's sake. Like, it would take about 3 fields to feed a family in a house for a year. That's kind of the rough guesstimate of what we figured out. So, well, yeah, I got some major planting to do. Generally, when I'm planting fields, I try to do 1 flower field with 2 crop fields. I think it's just a nice balance and doesn't make too many specialized fields. And with that, I have 3 more fields done. I still owe 3, however. I think I need a storage house out here. And speaking of rules, houses that are specialized houses, like storage houses, or even a blacksmith, or things like that, villager breed or whatever, they don't count against the farming cap. I look at them as places of employment. The farming cap really is all about living regular houses, so I can build a storage house here and not have to build 3 more fields for it. It's really nice, actually. Moving away from the city, I can go away from my spruce, dark oak, and deep slate palette and use, well, spruce still, but at least granite. That's different, right? Just a few more details, fireplace, and I should be good on this place. I mean, this doesn't really have an interior. It's just a big room with chests, but, you know, from afar, it's going to look like a little farmhouse, and that is good. Hey, give me that block back. One of the things that I have neglected woefully is livestock. And I have a few livestock fields. I have enough for like survival Minecraft, but I need some for like my people. So one of the fields that I'm doing for my third and final house is going to be a cow pasture. Like, why not? It counts as a field. It counts as crops, I guess. At least it will according to our rules. Got a couple cows in my pasture, bone mealed it up, and now I have up to my 9th field. I'm going to just put on my old shrubbery border around here. Look, I don't know. I need maybe some new ideas for borders so they're not all the same, but for right now it works, and this is the 9th field, and I am very, very happy about that. I have to admit, I've slept less already this 100 days than I have in a very, very long time, and I don't plan on sleeping anytime soon. I have a lot of projects that I want to accomplish, and yeah, sleeping doesn't really help me accomplish them all in a short amount of time. And with that, I have the first of my 3 Patreon YouTube Gold Tier member houses done. So very special thank you to Kai Guy. Here's your house. If you do the interiors, send me screenshots, and I will add them to the world. One thing I really love to add to medieval houses is towers, and I think I've neglected that in New Hope thus far. So the second house that I'm adding has a big tower room sort of set up right over there. I don't know exactly what I'm going to use. I think I want to go deep slate, though. I like the look of it, and don't have any deep slate over in this area, so I think that's going to be it's going to be a nice color to sort of break up the spruce and dark oak. Just a little bit of time later, and I have roofs on both houses. That diagonal one, I don't totally love. The deep slate one I do love, but you can't see it quite as well in the rain here. But it's okay. This diagonal one needs some love. Yes. It's starting to look pretty nice. Filling in pavement everywhere. That's one thing I've definitely learned is having all pavement with basically no grass is extremely helpful for the city vibe. Yeah, looks good. And with that, I slapped the mailbox on for Victor, Kim, and Robert Block. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. And if you're a Gold Tier YouTube member or Patreon, I'll get to you soon. As much as I talked about not having a lot of grass, I do want to have grass in very specific areas where I have like a raised tree bed. And so I'm going to put a little custom tree right here. I really love these little custom trees. They're not that different than a regular tree, but they just look custom. You know, if that makes any sense. It really helps a lot to make your city look done. Mr. Grady, how goes the recruiting trip?
It's good. In fact, easier than I expected. The villages outside of New Hope aren't doing well, honestly, sir.
How so?
The Fist, sir.
Doctor, please, I'm no officer.
Well, Doctor, the Fist may have excused us from 60% food tribute, but they have not done so with the villages to the north. The people were quick to sign on to dig or build whatever we asked them to, if we can provide them with the food promised.
Well, that's good. I don't think food will be an issue. Since you've been gone, I've managed to add 9 more fields, and since we don't have winter on this planet, the fields yield more than I ever expected.
A winter? I don't know that word.
Yeah, I guess. Growing up on this planet, you wouldn't. Most planets have seasons of hotter and colder weather, but this one seems to be in a wobble-free orbit around the sun.
Huh. Times of cold and snow. That would be something indeed.
I had a run-in with one of our new miners this morning. He told me his group needs a place to worship. I'll admit, religion is not something I've ever really considered here. In fact, I was somewhat blindsided that there even is a religion on this planet, though I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. He essentially gave me the ultimatum that unless I create a place for them to conduct their services here in New Hope, they'll travel the day-long journey to their old village, worship, and return a day later. I'm more convinced than ever that we don't have that kind of time to waste, so I suppose it's time for me to build these guys a church. Well, I won't lie, this is not the first church I've ever done in Minecraft. However, I find them easy to start and hard to finish, and I am bound and determined to finish this church. So first thing I need to do is a reasonable footprint. The thing is, churches can get actually just huge. They can get absolutely enormous. And, it makes it tough to actually finish it. So I have about 25 days I've allotted for this project. So let's get a move on. I did a lot of Google searching for just general concept art and actual churches and things like that, and I found a design that I kind of like. I'm going to go the two sort of left and right towers, and then a central tower up in the middle, and then sort of descending lines to the back. But before I go any further, I need to figure out where the altar or podium or whatever is going to be, and I think this is about the right spot. I want a room in the back for, storyline reasons. It's going to come way down the road. Don't you worry about it. I have a plan. I want the church to stand out a lot in my city, so that means no spruce, dark oak, or deep slate. So I think I'm going to use copper. I've never really built out of copper since they added in 1.17, and I think this is the perfect opportunity to do a big copper roof. But that means, I got to go mining. All right, hear me out. I have a new technique I've been working on for when you're mining with one beacon. You go down to whatever Y level you want, in this case Y46 for copper. Then you get a running start and you mine as far and as fast as you can in a straight line. Don't worry about any ores or torches or anything. Try to get as far as you can before your beacon runs out. You can probably make it almost a couple hundred blocks, then you return, you light it up. Occasionally a mob spawns, but not usually, and then you mine all the ores. Doing this 2 times fills my entire inventory. I want you to try it, or at least if you have a better mining technique when you have one beacon, you gotta let me know. Leave me a comment down below and tell me how is a better technique than what I just showed. Or if everyone knows this and I just learned it like yesterday, then, tell me that too, okay? After the first run, I filled all the inventory spots with ores, so I didn't fill up with cobblestone. And look at that. That's 2 runs. It took just a couple minutes. I was just sitting here underneath my MEGABASE, just being really annoyed at how long it was taking for copper to smelt. And then I remembered, we have blast furnaces in vanilla Minecraft now. Oh my goodness, I'm such an idiot. Yeah, they're twice as fast, so yeah. I'm going to guess I probably mined for about 2 days, and I came up with, a handful of copper blocks. You get a lot of copper back, which is cool, but, this is going to take a ton. Yeah, and sure enough, I'm right. I'm absolutely right. I'm out of copper, and I've done, not that much. I mean, some, but there's still a lot of copper to go, and I got to go mining again. Boo! I went to go get some torches, and look what I found. Yeah, it turns out in my main storage, I have a ton of copper just sitting there. I didn't think to check. I have that. I'm such an idiot. And just like that, skip the mining, I'm back to building again. Eventually this is going to look all green and weathered, but for right now, it's kind of cool that it's all shiny. It feels really cool. I have the basics of the roof all sort of figured out. I think this is going to be how we go with the front. I'm probably going to extend some things and make some sort of depth adjustments, but for right now, I think this is a pretty decent look from the street anyway. I will admit, I was getting worried. About halfway through this build, I was like, this is really terrible. Am I going to have to completely tear this down? But no, I don't think I am. I think that it is salvageable. I hope. Yeah, and just like that, we're headed back to the mines, but this time for deep slate. I am basically completely out of deep slate, so all right, let's go. I have a gradient already going from cobble up to sort of smooth stone, but now I want to go something a little bit lower, and then I actually have another gradient like sort of even lower than that. So I got a couple of deep slate variants, and I'm going to put that on the bottom between 2 and 5 layers. And dating back from my Bedrock Survival with Fix days, by the way, that's 212 episode season. If you want to go check it out, it's on my channel. I have this pink stained glass texture. I mean, I face it, when am I going to use pink stained glass? But if I make it a stained glass, like an actual like sort of church looking stained glass, I can use it a lot. I got the idea from my good friend Jermsyboy. Check out his channel, he's brilliant. I think I might end up doing some variations of this. I've been kind of hesitant to add too many textures, but I think since we've already gone in on the medieval looking glass, maybe having some variations so they're not all the same might be good for this. I don't know. Let me know. Variations or just keep it. After adding some blackstone, it's time to start doing a little bit of detail work. So I want to put these sort of mini arches that mirror the roof design they went with over the windows too. I think it should look kind of cool, and it's going to help dress up the walls a bit. Oh, it's a rainy night, but look, my copper's just starting to turn. A couple of them have already. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to add some gothic touches sort of to this feel where I'm bringing the deep slate kind of 1 block higher than the roof and going every 2 or 3 blocks to go up, because I want to do some sort of spiky peaks here. Really sort of lean into the sort of, it's not evil, but, the dark sort of tones of this church. Since Since I haven't worked with copper much, hardly ever, it's hard for me to imagine sort of the green texture here. I'm trusting that it's going to look really cool, but right now, I don't really have it in my mind's eye, to be honest. Now, part of the church is going to be the exterior too. Big buildings like churches and schools generally have a lot of land, so I want to make sure that that is the case here too. So I've set aside some room to have a little bit of a walkway that's going to go all around the church from the very front, the whole way around, and back to the front again. I put in this cobblestone wall back the day that I built the school, and I have not liked it ever since then, so I am very happy to be ripping it out. I'm going to replace it with something more colorful, I hope. Yeah, by using brick, this is definitely the way to go. Man, it rains constantly in this world now. Constantly. So much, I can't even believe it. Anyway, it's going to play off the school really well. It's going to add some color to the church. All in all, this is a total win. Big fan. And from there we go right out of the driving rain and right into the river. Yeah, I need clay. I am way out of clay. Man, it takes a lot to make a decent amount of bricks. It takes a ton of clay. Luckily, these rivers are huge in 118. That's a big win, but still, it's time consuming. Time consuming, but it didn't take that long. I got 4 stacks of clay built up to build height and took it all down just for fun. And yeah, it was actually really fun. So I took all my clay balls and I threw them into my super smelter, and yeah, it's kind of terrible. I really need to improve it. It sucks. Yeah, this is going to take a while. I think I have like 10 furnaces and it's just going very slowly. I need another project. Yeah, and then it hit me. I'm right here on my base. I need to stay close to these furnaces for a little bit. I have an idea. I have been using a ladder to access my underground farms for 1,200 days. Yeah, how long is that? That's a 1,200 divided by 365. That's 3 years. That's 3.25 years. My goodness. Come on, man. I'll be honest, this water elevator thing is not working out quite as well as I had hoped. I got it all the way down to my mining area, but I have washed up my crops about 7 times. And with about 5 days left until the midway point, which is basically a meaningless number, but still, I'm keeping an eye on it, I am back to the church. I have enough clay to actually finish this and start working on the exterior of this giant build. I have a plan for this exterior idea. I was just actually sitting here petting my dog, and I thought of it right now. So first thing I need to do is do a path and sort of spruce up with some nature. I added in some custom trees and some bone meal, and yeah, it looks pretty good around here. I think we're ready. Now, I have gotten suggestions to do like a graveyard, and I think I will, but not here. Maybe if I did a graveyard, maybe outside the city walls, or at least not right in the middle of downtown. But I want to just kind of little caps to make this look a little bit nicer. If you've been around the channel for a while, you know that pets have a very, very special place in my heart, and I have included some sort of tribute to my first dog, Sydney, in every world I've ever done, and this world is going to be no exception. This is Sydney's marker. Now, it's not supposed to be a gravestone or anything like that. It's just a marker. It's a remembrance place for me. So here's what I'm offering. If you're watching the video and you had a pet that meant something to you that has passed on and you feel so inclined, you can leave it in the comments, and I will fill up this place with memory stones of our beloved pets. Okay, just leave what kind of pet it was in a comment and the name, and I will put it in this world up until I don't have any more space. Time to work on the interior. I have a couple days left, and I want to do these benches here. Instead of normal pews, I just kind of thought it'd be cool to have this kind of bench, but it looks a little high. I like the andesite. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe it's good. I don't know. I'm not sure. Kind of looks like a table, but I don't know. Adding in some carpet to really bring out the color. This really helps a lot. Makes it start to feel good. I need to add in some detail and some lighting. Yeah, it's coming along. I think we're going to finish this right at the halfway point for this episode. I have no real intention of doing all the interiors in this church, but I do want to include some balconies and some overlooks, things like that. And I want to have ways to get up and down for who knows. Maybe we'll do some stuff later. I might even move a cleric in here to be my villager priest. I felt like it was a little bit dark, so I added in some white terracotta. Normally, the white terracotta really bothers me with its sort of cream and not white look, but for some reason, it doesn't really bother me as much here. Maybe it's just dark enough that I don't really see it. Either way, it does light up the place just a little bit. I think we are close to done. And with that, it is officially day 1,150, and it is time for me to move on. I feel really good about this church. There's some detail that we'll add down the road later. There's actually a few windows that are missing for right now, but you know what? It looks good, and I need a break from this project. Now that the miners are recruited and the church is finished, the workers have relocated full-time to New Hope and continued construction on the arcane reception coil. I had a conversation with a Fist representative about the mechanics of this monstrosity. As it turns out, I will need to trap a different monster in each of the 4 pylons to siphon their actual life essence from them and into the Ark. I don't pretend to know how something like this could even work, or even if it will work, but it's keeping the fist off my back for a while and allowing us to continue to thrive in New Hope. Well, I'm really happy to get back to my mega project after all, and the arcane reception coil it is due. But first, I want to make a path for all of my new miners and construction workers to get up there. I was so excited. Visions of all the different parts I'm going to add to this arcane reception, and yeah, I'm out of deep slate. I'm completely out. So yeah, how fun. But hey, that gives us an opportunity for mining trivia quiz show. While I'm mining for deep slate, you get asked one question. You have 10 seconds to answer it. Are you ready? The answer is unkindness, an unkindness of ravens. Well, with all of my new hard-earned deep slate, I came up to the top because I want to expand the top of the LP generators. Yeah, LP. Yeah, we're going to get more into that a little bit in the lore down the road, but if you follow my modded series, you might know what it is. And honestly, it's kind of weird. I'm kind of expanding here without really a plan. Like, I build a phase and kind of go back and look at it, and then build another phase and go back and look at it. It's freeing in a way, but I also worry in a way that the end result won't be that good. But I've been doing this Minecraft YouTube thing for a long time.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new series.
Well, anyway. I lost my shovel. I can't find it anywhere. I don't know where I put it. If you happen to have seen me put it somewhere in a video, could you let me know in the comments down below? A little frustrating. It was a really nice shovel. I spent a long time flying all over my world, looking in all different possible chests and houses for my shovel, and I never did actually find it. I guess that's the downside of running 2 series at the same time, but while I'm looking for my shovel, let me talk very quickly about Dominion SMP. It is going spectacularly well. The first 2 episodes from that series are the best 2 non-100-day episodes of anything I've ever put out. If you're not checking it out, definitely go. It's so much fun. The intrigue, the storyline, the plot, it's great. Well, I've resigned myself to having to make a new shovel, so I'm over in my village area getting all the things I need for a Silk Touch Efficiency 5 shovel situation, and also I want 4 name tags. I might get a few extras just in case. I really need to update my villagers. I haven't done anything with these in like 1,000 days almost, so I need a couple other trades I don't have, but right now, I just want name tags. I'm going to go ahead and get 8 of them, because that way, if something goes wrong with these mobs, then I'm covered. I collected my ender chest, and I'm off to the nether. Yeah, speaking of projects that I started and haven't really done anything with in a long time, this nether. You know, I spent all this time building this big ice road thing, and I just fly over it. I just fly over it every single time. Like, I gotta do something about this. This is awful. Now, I've built up these LP collectors to be, this is sort of be like the ground, the floor level where the mobs are going to be, where their like energy is going to be siphoned out of them. And I want it to look kind of cool. I'm not exactly sure if this is going to be a roof or if there's going to be a roof towering above this yet. So I got to sort of plan open-ended for the future. Back to grinding some sea lanterns. I really love the way these look with complementary shaders, so I want to really utilize them a ton on the tower. Unfortunately, they do take a good deal of time to get. Now, the idea is, again, the mobs are up on the top, and they are going to pull the energy down into those sort of energy pylons. That's sort of the lore backing that I'm coming up with for this thing, and yes, I'm making up on the fly. I think it's big enough, should work out fine. For some reason, I was just extra annoyed at having a diamond shovel whenever I was used to my netherite shovel, so I did take a break, hop into the nether for some gravel and netherite. But while I was looking for netherite, I actually thought, hey, you know, I should get a bunch of blackstone, because I could start using blackstone along with deep slate, along with cobblestone and stone to have a really nice variation of the grayscale. And then on top of that, while I'm gathering all the stuff, I guess I may as well go get a whole bunch of sand, because I do want to put colored glass to sort of represent the LP getting pulled out of mobs, so yes, more gathering. I decided to go with purple and blue glass, and I'm just going to alternate using the shuffle mod, just randomly place it as I go up the pylons, and then I'm going to put sort of sea lanterns in front of it, and I think that should light it up enough to make it kind of look magical coming up, but not like blatant. I think it should be a nice subtle effect. I have a feeling that I'm not going to get all the projects that I want to get done in time, so I have taken to working through the nights basically every night. It does make a bit of a phantom war pretty much every night, but I played on Deceit, so I'm used to that. I just got done taking a little bit of a break because I have been practicing piano. Now, you may or may not know that I'm a professional trumpet player. That's like my gig. That's my day job, and I love it. But sometimes because it's my day job, it's not that much just fun. And playing piano has recently become a real passion. I've been having a great time. I've been practicing every day, probably up to maybe an hour a day, which, for having kids and a budding Minecraft channel and that stuff is quite a bit. But I've been having a great time playing piano. For right now, just classical. I think I'm going to try to start into jazz at some point soon, but yeah, I'm loving it. I'm having so much fun. Do you guys play musical instruments? Do you keep up with it? Especially any adults out there play? I'm very curious to what y'all got to do. I had a small hiccup. I've been waiting for mobs to spawn for like an entire night, and they just wouldn't spawn. I took a closer look, and I realized that the light level is not 0. It's like 2 right in the center, so they're not going to spawn. So I'm going to try to cover up all this light. I may even need to build sort of a border around there to get the light down. I figured this would be the first one to get. Yeah, I got a zombie pretty quickly and used one of my name tags to keep him forever. It's actually, that was really easy. The same night, actually just like a minute later, I was able to get a skeleton too. Again, pretty darn easy. Okay, things are looking up. Now, those are the 2 easy ones. The next ones are going to get a little bit harder. Building through another night, I was waiting for a mob to spawn that wasn't either a skeleton or a zombie. No luck, so, well, let's keep on building. Believe it or not, the little bit of building that I've done has already used up more than a shulker of deep slate. Yeah, okay, time to go back and get more. Now, I decided I want to expand the Arc Tower. Now, this is supposed to be a huge build, and it's okay, but I need a major expansion, and it's time. Let's do it. Now, I'll be honest, my initial mobs that I was going to get were a creeper and a witch, but a phantom attacked and got caught under this roof. So if I could just kind of coax him in here, and I got a phantom. Technically, yes, I have a spider in there, but I kind of figured it was too easy to get a spider. Let's go a little harder. Now, the lore reasoning for the 2 major expansions I have is one is going to be fuel and one is going to be fuel waste. What is that fuel? I'm not totally sure yet. Something to deal with blood or something. I don't know. We're going to work that out later down the road for like a sort of storyline format. But right now, I think it just looks really cool. And this is unbelievable. I was just walking by and a creeper spawned literally in the cell that I needed a creeper to spawn in. You can't get any luckier than that. So I need a way for the fuel to get in and out of these tubes. One is going to be an orb and one is going to be sort of an oblong thing. But I need the fuel to actually have an entrance and an exit. So I'm going to put one more tube that goes back into the main tower. And I think it's going to help to sort of keep the structure looking stable anyway, not so loose. When building something this big, I am constantly going for something that has function, according to the lore, and just a general wow factor. I mean, look, I want to build something that looks really cool, so I'm sort of skirting around that a little bit. It's a real pain working up this high. I need to put a couple blocks a little lower than I can reach, and I have nothing to sort of attach them to, so I have to be, inventive on how I get in and out. But I want to have a circle going around. I want that circle to be reinforced by stone and not just the sea lantern. So it's a little trickier, but with some trial and error, I figured out a way that I can get in and out and not destroy too much of my orbs. And then, of course, continuing to use Prismarine as my main color sort of detail block. It looks really good, and I really, really like it with these complementary shaders. I mean, it looks real. Now, my goal for this block of time working on the arc was to get just the 4 mobs put in and have some sort of tubing for fuel. I've done that, and I have a few more days remaining to work on this. So what I want to do is I want to put a big octagon that goes around to enable room for future expansion, because, again, I need a lot of room for machinery and things like that. That's not going to happen in this episode, but I want to have sort of the infrastructure laid. We're on day 1175. I'm taking a final look around because I think it is time to move on from this project for now, and don't worry, we're coming back to this. My goal is to work on this project up until 2,000 days, and then move on to a new mega build.
We have a problem, sir.
Well, it is another day. I suppose we're due.
A worker was killed last night.
What? A monster attack?
That's what I thought at first too, but it seems he was killed in a duel.
A duel? I'm sorry, what?
I did some asking around, and it seems these miners I recruited fight after the day's work is done.
They duel for fun.
It seems so. Even if we can stop the duels, the city is growing, and with that, the need for something entertaining.
And maybe something a little less life-threatening.
Ideally.
Mr. Grady, do you have any sports on this planet?
Sports. I don't think I know that word.
Huh. I think I have an idea. All right, now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, okay, medieval, it's going to be a fighting arena, it's going to be some chariot races, jousting. No, it's going to be a soccer stadium. There's a reason why. I really want to sell that this medieval area is really being run by someone from the present day or future. And I think that doing a medieval sport wouldn't really fit that. Now, to go along with things that aren't really going to fit in, this is obviously not going to be regulation size. I don't have that much room, and I don't know what regulation size actually even is, and I don't care. Steve Tepic wouldn't know necessarily what regulation size field is, right? All right, now this is a lot smaller than what I had sort of originally thought it would be, but this is just the biggest that it can be, and that's okay. It's going to be fine. We're going to build an arena around it, so it's going to be kind of like an indoor soccer. I actually had to do something that I have not done in this world. I had to find a mine shaft because I need a lot of cobwebs for this, and, well, I think that's the only place you can get one. I don't have a data pack or anything for custom crafting recipes, so, yeah, I had to find one. Luckily, I kind of vaguely knew where one was, and it didn't take me too long to track it down. But actually, it's amazing that I found this abandoned mine shaft because I found my first glowberries in this entire world. I can use these for a lot of things. Super cool. Using some quartz, I was able to make a Yeah, flying in here, it's definitely quite small, but I think the idea is accomplished, and that's probably good enough for me. Adding walls is not going to help the expansive factor, so yeah, it's going to make it feel even smaller. You know, we could make soccer a lot more interesting if it was played on ice, maybe 5 versus 5 with a goalie. Maybe instead of a big ball, we just use a tiny little black puck, maybe some sticks. That'd be better, right? I decided to put the boards, I mean the walls, right up on the line, and look, we are going to make the soccer 5v5 with goalies, and I think that is going to be fine. These people in this plan have never seen soccer. They don't know what the rules really are. This is tough because of my city walls over there. I don't have that much room for stands, so I'm going to have to make the stands fairly steep so that the people can actually see what's going on in the field anyway. I'm not sure. This is going to take some trial and error, I think. Hey, check it out. Our first player volunteered to be goalie. He even has pads and everything. I'm going to have to do some major building for the stands here. It's time to go to yet another time lapse.
You have a way, it is hard to get behind those blue eyes. Are you serious? I need to know.
I don't like it looking quite as much like a box as it does right now, so what I want to do is take down the sides. You know, I live in Pittsburgh, and we have a great football stadium called Heinz Field, and it kind of has that open end zone look. I don't think it really matters for seating because I don't have that many people in my city, but I think it's a nice idea for a more interesting look for the stadium. And flying back in from a little bit of a spruce harvesting trip, I noticed that I really hate how flat this side is, but I mean, it's a soccer field. It has to be flat on the side. I did sort of detail the mountain edge cliff thing that was on the side, and I started putting in some deep slate on the bottom and spruce up on top. It's helpful. It's not great, but it's helpful for now. Well, I guess the people are going to want to actually get into the stadium, so I need an entryway, and I'm thinking maybe a place to have a couple, like concessions or ticket sales or something along those lines. Now, honestly, this is one of the big reasons why I wanted to build this, because I have this idea for drooping shades that are going to really help colorify the city that I think is going to be a really good thing. So I'm going to put up these sort of supports on the side and then droop wool down over top of them to sort of make it look like, a medieval style of a canopy. My goodness, this rain is just so constant. You would not believe how many clips I don't record because it's raining. Yeah, this is not bad at all. I like it. I think it droops just kind of the right amount. And I didn't want to go over the field. I just want to go over the stands. It gives you that feeling. It feels not too big and just kind of right. Now, it's not supported enough. I need some sort of ropes or fencing or something to hold up the canopy. Adding in fencing gave it just the right amount of clutter, I think, to start to really feel like it's actually being held up. There are some other things I can do, too, to help a little bit, but I think this is a good start. Adding in some concessions, I use different colors again. I want this to look like a fair or like an exciting atmosphere here, and using some different colorful stands can help. Also, I put some stairs to actually get up to the top. I'm completely out of glowstone, and I want to use some redstone lamps, so I had to run to the nether to get some more. And honestly, I don't think this is going to work, because some of these are in shadow even during the daytime. Like, no matter which way I toggle them, they stay on because it's either night or they're in shadow. So I may have to work out something different this, because I want all the lights to turn on at the same time. Now, honestly, this is pretty much all my time. I have only a handful of days left. But I have one more very important thing to do this video. Throughout the month of January, my supporters who play on my supporter realm had a competition. The winner is selected, and it is Andy Days. This is his build on my official supporter realm. Now, I just got to build it in my hardcore world. I thought I could do this very quickly. As it turned out, not so much. I'm not great at using schematica or lightmatica, and this took a long time. So, well, here we go. Yeah, day 1212. I'm 12 days over scheduled for sending in my my report, my video, whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is that we got it done. It's a huge, epic, hardcore video. I hope you enjoyed it. We have a lot more coming after this. Stay tuned for the epilogue right now. Captain Watt, welcome back. My new advisor, Mr. Grady, told me you had returned. How was your exploratory voyage?
It was eye-opening, to say the least.
How so?
We found many villages in the uncharted south, and yet they are all within the Fist's control.
How far did you sail?
Sir, I tell you, we went many times further than the farthest reaches anyone, to my knowledge, has ever been.
And yet, the Fist's territory reaches.
It does, and further. But that's not all. The Fist is at war.
That would explain the ever-increasing requirements for food and stone.
Indeed. And that might not be the worst of it. Though no one would outright say it, I believe the Fist is losing the war.
Losing? To who?
I don't know. But as much as all the villagers we encountered hate the Fist, they are terrified of what will happen if the Fist of the Dragon loses.